Yeah, g'day everyone and welcome back to the Gold Coast Titans Frontline podcast. Dane here from Clarkie's Rugby League column, joined every week by Russ from Danny and Blake. We're all over social media, guys, so say g'day, share your thoughts about the week that was and the week that's coming up. But Russ, it's another week for me, mate, where everything was great community-wise. The pre-game function was awesome. The connection between all of our fans was awesome before the game. We just didn't get the result on the field, did we, mate? But how are you going otherwise?
Yeah, good, mate. Like I know I only saw you a couple of hours ago, but nothing's too much has changed since then. But yeah, it was a disappointing end of the night. The pre-game stuff was all good. Titans always do put on a good pre-game functions, like we were saying that last night. It's just we just can't execute on the field. We get our hopes up after a great performance last week, and then just to an absolute shocker. We'll break it down.
Yeah, and talking about off-field stuff, man, I've seen a lot of comments today on the social media, Titans groups and stuff, people saying, oh, we need to sack the CEO for all of this. And I couldn't disagree more. Like the fact we're profitable as a club, despite not being successful. We're ranked top 3 in Australia for game day experiences, despite losing more than 50% of the time at home. Yeah, I think that's absolutely crazy talk, mate.
The club is trying. Club puts in all the time, man. You have to give them that. Like they're always putting in. Like last week with the Manly game, mate, they put in for that crowd. Like there was 13,000 people turn up, which is good for us. And it was the club really put in. There was fireworks. They had wrestling going. They did the world record for the bandanas. Like they really are putting in.
Yeah, everything off the field is honestly going pretty good at the moment. It's just on the field. When we're not getting the results, mate, which leads me into grading our performance. So on a scale between F-, A+ being the highest, what are you going to give us for that game specifically?
Obviously, it's not good. I'm going around that D mark. I thought if JC didn't get injured, we might have been a chance of winning that game, and that's the only reason. I'll give us a D+, if just on that, because like if JC wasn't injured, I feel like we could have done better. So I'll give us a bit of a pass there. So
yeah, I'm around the same, mate. A D. Unacceptable, but not the worst performance we've seen from the Titans. And in my view, I agree with you. Like we can take some solace in the fact we lost our halfback and kicker early in this contest, which then we went down to our 3rd string kicker. We were down to like our 4th with Bo as well. So I was really confident going in. That's why I can't give it a pass mark. I think we probably should have won this game, but things didn't go our way, mate. So we'll leave it there for that and move into the Titans news. We're going to start with the NRLW. Our ladies won their trial over the Cowboys, 16 points to 8. Awesome work by our ladies, and that season kicks off on July 5th. So that's not this weekend, guys, but that's next weekend.
2 weeks,
And we'll get into the NRLW and support that all the same, of course, on this podcast. Superhero Sunday. That's the theme for our game coming up against the Cowboys this Sunday. Character meet and greets, superhero cape giveaways, other prizes to be won, a halftime show. So obviously the club there also putting in great effort, just trying to add to that game day experience. So keep that in mind if you are interested in going. I want to get your thoughts on this, mate. Des Hasler, he comes out after the game yesterday and says, look, any talk of me leaving the Titans, it's just whispers and innuendo. But then we get Triple M reporting this morning that he's told all of his assistant coaches, so Brett White, Michael Monaghan, Jim Lenahan, and Brad Davis, that they are free to leave. What do you make of those reports?
Man, I don't know what to believe, to be honest. Like, I don't really know about this, to be honest. Like some of those guys, like Jim Lenahan and stuff, they've been with the club for a long time, and I don't know. I don't really know what to comment about this, to be honest. Like, I don't know if it's true. I don't think it will be true, but if it is, I don't know. Like, do we, like, Des is our coach, but what's that sort of saying? He's not happy with his coaching staff. I just don't know I don't know.
It's tough, hey, because like ultimately we are speculating here. The Triple M NRL, the guy that gives the news for them, is not the most reputable source. He's also the one that reported Dave Fafita called Wayne Bennett, worth to note. So maybe he just has something against the Titans. But look, I'm interested if this is true. What does Des have in mind? Because he brought in Michael Monaghan. Jim Lenahan's had a lot of success on the Gold Coast and is our interim coach. Brad Davis has been here for a long time. He was a halfback at the club. And Brett White's a current assistant coach with the Kangaroos and Blues. So I went back and I thought, is he looking to bring back some of his old team from when he was at the Manly and Bulldogs back in the day? So this is every assistant coach he's had. Jeff Tuvey, David Penner, John Cartwright, Michael Monaghan, Chad Randall, Stephen Hales, Jim Dimmick, Kelly Egan, and Brett Kamali. Now, within that list, I can't pick out one name that excites me or that's like realistic. Like John Cartwright's not going to leave Super League head coach to come back as an assistant, for example. Brett Kamali's not going to leave NRLW with the Tigers. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. It doesn't quite make sense to me with how it currently stands. And
yeah, it doesn't make sense, eh?
Yeah. Like, when you look across the league right now, like I couldn't even name you 3 standout assistant coaches realistically.
Justin Holbrook.
No. But when you talk about like assistant coaches that have stood out in recent years, it has been your Andrew Websters, your Cameron Serraldos, your Jason Riles. They've all been snapped up now. So
they're already gone. Yeah, that's the thing.
This is one that's actually concerning me a lot, this next bit of news. Jimmy Jolliffe reports indicate he's in talks with the Cowboys, and I'm fairly confident those reports are correct, just quietly.
Yep.
My early gut feeling is, mate, I think we might lose him. I don't like saying that, but how do you feel about the situation?
I look at it and I go, from a player's perspective, at the moment, he's behind Mo and he's behind Tino. So he's pretty much, he's a reserve starter. He's going to be a reserve at the Titans. He goes there. Jason Taumalolo's old. Jordan McLean's old, probably retiring this year. He's a definite starter there. And you know what? The last 2 weeks, he's been our best player. He's been up there.
Tino was out last year as well. I thought he was their best player.
Yeah, he's putting up numbers, and I think he goes there. And for a player, I couldn't be happier for him for progressing his career. But the Titans will miss him for sure. He's actually a really classy forward and does the job every week. We'll miss him.
Yeah, he was awesome for us this week as well.
Yeah.
The only thing I would offer to extra to what you said there is potentially we might look back on this a little bit of salary cap mismanagement. Did we need to sign Regan Campbell-Gillard on such a significant 3-year deal when we knew we had players like Ricky Simpkins already signed and Jimmy Jolliffe coming off contract? Time will tell, but if I have to give a prediction now, I think we might look back with a bit of regret in that salary cap management and say we should have kept Jimmy because he's a great player.
Yeah, I agree.
All righty, mate. Game review time. So we go down to the Eels at CommBank Stadium there. I'll kick us off, mate. I'll go with some negatives so we can hopefully finish with some positives. Jump in whenever you like because we watched this one together at the ground. We spoke about it all night long. Way too many points from errors. And if you were to just look at this game afterwards, the Eels actually had more errors than us and a lower completion rate. But our errors were so costly. Like our back three had, I think, 5 errors combined, and at least 3 of those led directly to a try.
I did.
And if not a try, it was literally they got the repeat set and then scored within the next 6 tackles. So just devastating, mate. The knock-ons from their kick pressure absolutely is where it went wrong in this game. Losing JC, I mean, a lot of the time, like, because we were at the other end of the field, and our team were actually camped down the other end. Like, we were watching a lot of the big screen as opposed to the game. For a lot of that second half because they were camped down on the Eels line. But once we lost Jaden Campbell, would you agree we looked a little bit lost in attack and it was just very left to right?
We're both saying it. We had no, like, our kicks at the end of sets were just not good enough. We just had no direction. We really missed him. And as soon as that second half came and then we just knew that, like, we just weren't finishing our sets good and we just knew that it just was not going to end well.
Yeah, we had that feeling. I also feel like we spoke about it last week on the podcast. We said we can't change our game plan. We started with a great power game up the middle, and that saw Jimmy Jolliffe score in 3 minutes. And as we just touched on there, in the second half, when Jaden went down, it was just left to right, but there was no shape to the attack. We eventually scored via an overlap from just fast movement, which was nice to see, but no second phase plays at all. We had 4 offloads in this whole game as a team. That is just like Herbie Farnworth had 5. So Herbie Farnworth had more offloads today, this round, rather than our whole team. So, I have to say,
not good enough.
It's not. We were lost in attack. Whereas for the Seagulls game last round, we had confidence in attack. I wasn't at that game. You were. But as just watching it through the TV, I don't know. I could just feel our team was confident. I didn't feel that way this round. Would you agree?
100%. Last week, it just felt like Titans were back. It just felt like it was free-flowing footy. The crowd was amongst it. It just felt like we were a good team. And then this week, it was just the complete opposite. It was really the complete opposite. Like, we had all week to know that we were up against Zach Lomax, the best person probably in the air, him and Xavier Coates. And I don't know why. Like, we knew they were going to kick to that side all week. And that's where all the tries led from, that side. Every single one of them.
Yep. If you were doing any preparation on the Eels right now, It doesn't matter if they've got a rookie spine, which they did, or Mitchell Moses and Dylan Brown. They are kicking to Zach Lomax's wing consistently.
They are.
You've got to prepare for that, and you've got to get ready for that. The irony in it all was actually Steve Mitchell, our CEO. He gave a rap to all the younger players coming through at the club at the pre-game function. And he said, we've got guys like Loffy that have all this talent, but they've still got some rough around the edges we're developing. And like literally, unfortunately, it proved true within an hour of Steve saying that. The only time I thought we were unlucky in this game was Riley Smith when he, I can't remember which player he dumped on his head, but one of our players was put in a dangerous position there.
That was Bo Fermor, wasn't it?
Was it Bo? Now, he has actually been charged and he's facing a total of 3 weeks if he was to fight it. Maybe that moment there, if we get him sent off to the sin bin, could have changed our fortunes, but I don't want to use it as a major talking point because I'm fairly comfortable the Eels were the better side than us. They beat us in too many areas. So, biggest takeaway we can take from this one, guys, 18 points for the Eels came directly from an error from our back three with a competition that's as close as the current one. You cannot give any side that much of a significant leg up because the Eels were only one place above us. They were the 16th ranked team. We gave them that many points, and even they beat us. So you can only imagine if we did that against an elite side. Another factor, we were forced to go up in fours, essentially. We didn't have a goal kicker. That's the story of the night there. Let me finish on this stat, which will actually shock a lot of people. Our kick defusal rate was 42%, meaning we dropped more than 50% of our catches.
That's bad, eh?
That's the lowest I've ever seen in professional rugby league. And I don't mean to exaggerate. I check a lot of stats. That's bad. That's
bad. That's really bad.
Not even a coin flip 50-50. Not good. Some positives, Russ. Let's finish with some positives if we can get some. I loved our start. We were really direct there with Jimmy Jolliffe in particular. You could tell he relished the opportunity to start. He really enjoyed it. Next positive, we didn't struggle as bad in that 5-minute period we've outlined as a key area just before halftime and just after. So there's some improvement there. And final positive, I wasn't overall thrilled with our rotation. I thought we could have brought Tino on a bit earlier. And I think taking him off at the end was a little bit silly as well. But we did have a fair share of minutes with our bench players playing 53, 19, 37, and 48 minutes. Keep in mind, we've had games this year where they've been used for 5.
Well, so that was changed a bit because obviously JC went off late in that first half, and then they moved Randall into the halves, and so Jacob Alec got to play back row.
Yeah, like it was forced.
You don't know what it would have been, but it was forced. But like, I actually thought Jacob actually played pretty well when he came on, to be honest. He was pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, I can see actually a comment here from Boyd Star and Co. He wants to talk team list, and we'll get to that in a moment, mate. And we'll also talk about Jacob and where he fits in this round. But we've got to get our 3-2-1s done first, mate. Yeah. I'll rip mine off the cuff real quick. 3 points goes to Jimmy Jolliffe. Had the try early, 40-plus tackles, 100-plus meters, strong showing. Chris Randall, still not sold him at back row, but his hard work does the job. He had a try and 39 tackles himself. And 1 point, I'm going to go Philip Sami. He had almost 200 meters, 18 tackles for just 1 miss and 0 errors. So he was the only one of our outside backs to not have an error. So that's why he gets my point, mate. Who gets your 3-2-1s this week?
I was Jimmy Jolliffe. We've already spoken about him. He was solid. It has to be 3 points. 2, I had Chris Randall as well. Just he had to go play 5'8", and he went and scored a try. Like, I'm not sold on him as a back row. I reckon he's more of a lock, as I'm guessing you're the same. And 1 point, I went Bo Fermor, only because he was the only one in our first 13 that didn't miss a tackle.
Oh wow, I didn't know that about Bo. And I'll give Bo rap as well. Like when Jaden goes off, everyone was kind of like, "Who's gonna goal kick?" Like, we didn't know. And Bo's like, "Look, I'll give it a rap." No one knew. And you know what I mean? Bo missing from the sideline, I don't care. I actually like that he had the bravery to step up and give it a crack. Yeah. So I don't think of him any less for that at all. Corey from YouTube says the left side defense was a lot better. Loffy got that good one-on-one tackle. I'd like to see more of that. I'll add to that too, Corey. He did concede the try to Will Penasini, but I thought that was a really good one-on-one attempt as well.
Yeah.
It was a good effort.
It was a good effort, yeah.
And Colt from YouTube. G'day, Colt. He says, I thought we'd done well, and he liked Isaac's energy. I thought Isaac was good this game. He got a few more minutes than usual. Still not quite at the level we need him to be at, but slowly improving.
Yeah.
All right, mate, let's move on to affiliates recap time. Unfortunately, guys, no good news at all this week as a club. Burleigh Bears defeat our Jets 30 points to 18, and the Redcliffe Dolphins defeat our Seagulls 24 points to 16. That means Jets move to 6th on the ladder, and Tweed drop all the way to 13th, so third last there. Some of our players that stood out for Tweed, Tony Francis, he scored a double, no errors, no missed tackles, so a pretty safe performance there. Brian Kelly, this is one I'm sure everyone's interested in. He dropped back for 186 meters, 87 of which were post-contact, 5 offloads, 13 tackles. He only missed 2, and he had 0 errors. So that's pretty good by BK back at the reserve grade level.
And you know what? We could have needed him on the weekend for goal kick. I'm not going to lie.
Ironically, the one game where everyone's been calling for BK to get dropped for so long,
and we actually need him,
and it's like, we needed BK. Horrible timing in terms of that. Sean Mullaney, I thought this was interesting for Tweed. He's now coming off the bench for them. Not sure I love that just because he is. Like, Des doesn't want to use Chris Randall as a hooker, it doesn't seem anymore. So that means Sean is our next depth hooker to Sam Verrills. And if you're not even starting in reserve grade and then you're then expected to start in the NRL, that's
a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't love that at all, to be honest. For the Jets, Arama House scored, but not much else there, guys. So this week, Tweed will be at home. They'll face the Burleigh Bears, so hopefully they can get some revenge for the Jets. And the Jets will play a curtain raiser at 1:45 p.m. at Seabus against the Brisbane Tigers before our NRL game. All right, let's go to any changes to the team, mate, because I do feel we've been a little bit choppy and changey lately, but we're dead last. Like, we've got nothing to lose.
There's got to be change, eh? Like, what are we changing?
For me, I'll throw a few options out there. At the time of recording, Jaden Campbell's unavailable unless the club applies for an exemption. So Brian Kelly has to come back in somewhere because we need a goal kicker. I think Jalen de Groot, he is set to return this round, so I think you have to move him to fullback. Brimson back into the halves with Foran. Tino and Mo go back to starting prop for me.
Yeah, they're going to start,
I'd still love Chris Randall at lock. We're not going to get it. I'd still love Regan Campbell-Gillard from the bench there with Jimmy, so we can do, double swaps. You see, like the Cowboys, because that's actually a perfect example because we're versing them. They bring on Cohen Hess and Griffin Neem at the same time, a double injection, and it really works well for them. We could do that. We've got 4 quality middle forwards, but for some reason we don't. Jacob Arlek-Winky. I want to see him have a starting game at back row. He deserves it, right?
If Fafita's not back, which I don't think he will be, I feel like, he's got to start. Even like you said, play Chris Randall lock. He's not a back rower. Like, he does a job, but he's not a back rower.
Yeah.
Jacob Alec deserves a start.
Yeah, he's literally earned it. Every time he goes back to reserve grade, he scores. He was forced to come in and play back row on short notice and increase minutes last week. And he was, he played pretty well against the Eels, I thought. Colt from YouTube says Tommy Weaver's going to be the halfback according to Des. So Des must have said that today. Look, if that's the case, then that's bad news for BK, personally, because Weaver's a goal kicker. So that could solve our goal kicking there. Look, do I love a halves combination of Kieran Foran and Tom Weaver? I'll be honest, I don't. I feel like
there's not much running game there.
Yeah, exactly right.
See, if you've got JC there or Brimson, you've got that X factor with the running. I feel like one of them have to be there.
I'd honestly feel more comfortable with Jalen de Groot playing 6 alongside Foran, just because then you have running game.
Yeah,
we need running halves.
That's right.
If we're going to threaten these teams, we're not going to be able to break them down with tactics and stuff like that. And then for the bench, Cleese, Tukey, or Josh Patson. I don't think. Look, I'm happy to give Isaac another week, but I just don't think we're getting the absolute best out of him. And
I agree.
When you're not winning games, we've got to chop and change and trial some things. So
I'm not too far different than you, man. I'm the exact same.
Yeah. Let's move into our game preview time before I lose my voice, which is quickly disappearing on this podcast. Versus the Cowboys this Sunday, 4:05 at Seabus. We are back on Channel 9 free-to-air TV for this one. We won our last game on Channel 9,
we did.
Just quietly against the Seagulls, also at home. Here's the story of the week. The coach that loses this game is going to find themselves in hot water and on every single talk show, radio, newspaper, all forms of mainstream media. Now, the Cowboys, they thumped us in round 8. We conceded 50, but they've only had one win since.
Mm-hmm.
Like, round 8 was a long time ago, and that was against the West Tigers.
They've been struggling, and I actually feel like with that game, they've moved Jackson Purdue into the halves with Din, and I don't think it's working. I feel like now, because they've just been pumped again by the Roosters, they're going to actually move him back to center.
Yeah, that hurts.
Which might not be good for us. I actually feel like they'll move him to center this week, and we want them to play halves. I feel like they're not working as a halves. I want them to have another game in the halves, but I feel like this week, watch them swap it.
Jackson Purdy, if he moves back to the center, he will almost certainly score again. He's got a great strike rate there. And Jake Clifford adds a little bit more control for them. So I hope they don't make that change. People might be listening as a podcast later and they'll know if they have or not. But as it currently stands before team list, we're both hoping they don't do that. I look back to the round 8 when we played them. We were just outgunned, like in every area. We were never in that game at all. And to be really brutal and frank and honest and transparent here, does anyone think we've improved much since round 8? Like, I don't. I haven't seen it if we have. I've overlooked it. That being said, though, here's why we're a chance. The Cowboys have regressed since that point. They've got 1 draw and 1 win since. Now, they put 50 on us there, but in their last 5 games, they're only averaging 12 points scored. So this is why when we say this week the defense remains the key to victory, and I know that can be a footy cliche, it is absolutely true, guys. If we can keep them to their 12-point average in the last 5 games, we've got more than 12 points in us. I can guarantee you that.
More than 12 points.
We always have more than 12 points. Usually have more than 12 in us.
Yeah.
So if we can shut them down, apply some scoreboard pressure, keep them within their average of 12, which they've had for the last 5 games, we will give ourselves a really great chance. And I went back, Russ, and I was like, look, I don't want to be too biased. Let me have a look at the stats and see what they say, because this feels like it could be a 50-50. So both of our sides have played the exact same game so far this year. We have conceded the exact same amount of points as the Cowboys, and they have only scored 2 more points than us in the whole year. So on averages, it works out we score 20 and we both concede 30. We're literally like at the
you got to take in mind, but I'm pretty sure the last 3 weeks for the Cowboys, they concede like 50, like two times.
Yeah, they've been poor defensively as well, but
they've
that works in our favor as well.
That works for us because we can score points. So,
look, I actually agree with Colt's comment from YouTube here. He says they're going to bring back in Robson and Cotter, and they have to win. I'm scared for this game. I actually agree. That's 2 huge inclusions for them. Our start will be really important here. If we can get the Cowboys off their game early, I think we're a chance. But if they get into rhythm with all their Origin players back, then I just think they'll have too much for us, similar to round 8. So for me, I'm probably just below a 5 out of 10 confidence rating. Stats tell us it's a 50-50 game. But as Titans fans, we are reluctant to get too confident before games. So I'm probably just below a 5 out of 10, mate. Where are you at in terms of your confidence for this one?
Yeah, I'm probably about a 3, just because we were confident this week against the Eels, after a good performance. And yeah, I'm just going to sit it down, like not expecting too much, and hopefully we can do something.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. We're not completely out of it, guys. As I said, it probably is close to a 50-50 game. I haven't looked at betting odds or anything like that. Either side can win this one. Both sides need to win. Like, realistically, we're at the point now where we've said for so many weeks, it's not do or die yet. We're dead last, and we're coming in around 17. It's literally do or die from this point.
It is. Like we're not going to play finals, but if we don't want to win a spoon this year, we got to get a couple of wins, and these are the games. We should have won the Eels, and we got to beat Cowboys. They're teams that are down the bottom end of this ladder, and like Cowboys are struggling. If we're not winning these games, we're going to win a spoon.
And I think in previous years, we have kind of shown that, I think it was 2020, because it was the shortened season, we went on a run late. And then we actually took that into 2021 and played finals. So even though we probably don't have the belief that we can make the top 8 at this point, if we can at least finish the season strong again, at least it gives us a platform for next year. And I know Titans fans are sick of hearing that, next year. But that's the reality of where our season's at now. We just have to be honest with each other, I suppose. So in a sense, it is do or die, but it's also building foundations for 2026 at this stage. So look, fingers crossed we can rise to the challenge and get a win at home like we did against the Seagulls. But for me, I'm probably just below that 5 out of 10, guys. I'd probably be like a 45% confidence out of 100%, if I'm honest. Alrighty, guys, that is where we will close the show. Look, we just want to say thank you very much for sticking with the show at the moment. We really appreciate your support. It's not lost on us the fact that we're last and that it's not enjoyable to hop on here and listen to us every week when we're not winning. We completely understand it, guys, and that's why we appreciate your support, even more so than we regularly would. So look, we appreciate the support. I'm sure the club, players, wider Titans community outside of the front line do as well. All we can do is keep turning up, keep supporting our team, and fingers crossed the result goes our way this week, Russ. So give me an up the Titans and let's call this show.
All right, mate. Up the Titans. Let's go.
Up the Titans.